Hello everybody, this is Lila in Hawaii. I am going to show you some of the results of the classes we have. We have little art and craft classes with some of my neighbors here in a little jungly tropical garden underneath the pomelo tree it is actually. We have a little table and chairs out there and we get together once a week and we have classes. Sometimes we do a project all in one day. The project I'm going to show you though now took about a month or maybe a little bit longer, and it was inspired by the gardens of Celia Thaxter. She lived in the late 1800s and off the coast of Maine, the Isles of Shoals they were called, where they lived. Her father for a while kept the lighthouse there, and then they had a guest house, and the story is wonderful. The illustrations were part of what intrigued me because I love watercolor, and they were by Childe Hassam. So this is, I've got a couple of her books. This is her day book, and that's one of the pictures that he painted of Celia Thaxter. So we decided we would use that as a background for a book ourselves, and I put together a fabric book. All the pages are fabric, and then each time we met we would either do a couple of pages or we would do the cover or some other aspect of it. So I'll move this away for the moment and show you on this wet rainy day in Hawaii the cover we did. I had these little terracotta flower pots from a long time ago, and so we made those into some of her flowers. She loved roses, so this is like a tree rose coming out of the flower pot, and there's the date that she was around, 1876 it says. And so it just kept that fairly simple, and the back is like that. So we all would do the same, and then inside each day, as I said, each day we met we would do something. So this particular day the challenge was to put the cat, her favorite cat, in the window. So it's layered, it's about 3 or 4 different layers. There's a lace curtain inside, and there's that shiny plastic material. So that's the, you might say that's the frontispiece. And then here's the actual title of the journal, Celia's Flowers. Actually was 1848, and I put today's, or this year, 22, and then a collage of pansies I made, cross-stitch and so forth, with a little lace down. As I said, all the pages are fabric, but we did use a lot of paper. Anyway, to continue, here's another little terracotta pot, but this one is fake, of course, and then some of my own hand-painted flowers. We each spent one day painting flowers on muslin, flowers that she would have had in her garden. So here's a picture of Celia, and it's kind of multi-layered with a tag in behind. I'll just go through this fairly quick. Another page with Celia in the garden and some potted plants. This was a sticker, I think. Here's her image. We had challenges throughout, and one of the challenges was to do something with this watercolor, and so I added one of my painted pansies and some lace trims. That was my part of the challenge. On this side we tried to incorporate things like wooden lighthouses, seed packets, all that kind of thing that would pertain to her story. And so this is a seed packet, and inside, of course, there are lots of tags. I'll just take out one because this one was some pressed flowers. We all had, one of our challenges one time was to press flowers, and we went in the neighborhood here, and any flowers hanging over the fence that we thought would work, we did that. Here's a little pocket with garden on it and flowers inside. So those are pressed flowers. On this side is a little folded pocket also And this time she had butterflies, or attracted butterflies to her garden. So there's her butterfly and some little French knot flowers. Actually, I didn't do those. Those were cut off an old linen. And here's another sample card with pressed flowers from her garden. Pretend, of course. So one of the challenges one day was to paint the house where she grew up. And it was a strange, in a sense, looking house. It didn't look like a cottage. They called it a cottage. And it was like, let me see if I can put it back together. Well, it was all one cottage, and then it was sitting on something we never could figure out what it was sitting on in the actual photograph. So for me, I just painted some abstract flowers and so forth. And then we found that the cottage pretty much was too wide for one page, and I liked the idea of used before, where you cut the design in half and apply half to one page and half to the other. And that worked really well for this cottage, just lent itself to that. Then just some fabric and paper collage and more of that. So that was another day. And this day we had to use a butterfly and a flower that she might have made or liked. And so we dyed some ribbon. It was actually torn silk, I think was what it was. And we used watercolors and painted the ribbon. So that was one class. Another class was, here is the lighthouse. And there's some shells and things under there on the rocks. It was very rocky. Apparently the Isles of Shoals were very rocky. And you can still take tours out there. I understand they go out there, they take you out in a boat. I understand it's about 10 miles offshore, and they have a group that keeps her gardens up to date. So here's a little label with a mushroom. This is all little things I applied, rub-ons and so forth like that. On this side we found a portrait, and the idea was to pretend that it was Celia's face, and then we had to surround it with glitter and add some collage. So that's my contribution. On this page we were each given a little ladybug, and we had to incorporate that into a collage. So that was mine. And on this side I found a book cover that said roses, and like a miniature book cover, and put some leaves that I made, and then these are purchased roses. One of the challenges one day was to embroider the name Isles of Shoals, and that's my effort. We had to embroider it on this fine linen, and then I added some of my painted flowers as well. Coming to the back, this was kind of funky. There's made inserts here in this envelope, so I won't go into all those. But so what we did is we made little paper boats. Let me see if I can show you that. So that's my little paper boat, one of them. And we made one that had I think this might be it, had a double sail. Well, this is the single one. The other must have been the double one. Anyway, we made little paper boats and made a pocket for those. And that goes in there with a tag, with dried flowers also. And then inside this little envelope are some more tags with pictures that she would have used and enjoyed. And then that was the back cover. Now the way we put it together was kind of neat. All I did was I took twine, we all did the same, and we didn't stitch anything, and we wrapped the twine around. We found the center, and mine happens to be the cottage. We wrapped the twine around the outside cover, 3 times, tied it off, and then we just slipped in the pages like that. So they can come out. It's easier actually if you untie it. It's tied there. It's better if you untie it. And then to close it, I just put a couple of pieces of twine. But I don't think it would look good tied because it's lovely just looking at it like so. Let me show you. Just like that. I like to be able to see all the stuff inside. So anyway, thanks for watching. And thank you to Celia and her lovely garden. Bye now.